Good evening. It is July 2nd, 2024. This is Debbie Davis. I just wanted to do an update on a few things. Touching base here. I don't know if you saw in my short clips that I just put up another incident where I have the police just, like, okay, it's loading. Okay, wait a second. The sheriff there? Sheriff vehicle? Okay. Yeah, sheriff vehicle. Okay, so this is, when I go for walks, I've talked about this before. Here's another picture I've showed this before. Like when I go out for walks with my dog, I always have the sheriff drive by. And I remember I did when I had that court date, and Hennepin County sent me a text message saying, oh, by the way, your court date for that wireless charge is on a Monday, and they sent me the text on a Saturday. And I said I did not receive anything in the mail about when this court date was going to be, and because it was like they pulled me over for that brake light thing, and then he just added this additional charge, and I've requested the footage that requesting evidence of why do you think that I was on my cell phone? What is this wireless charge about? And then, so they dropped the brake light thing, but they wouldn't drop the cell phone charge. And then the judge said, we're going to push this court date out like several months out. And then they were supposed to send me the new court date information in the mail. And they never did. And then all of a sudden I get this text out of nowhere. And I have to try to get to the court date on a Monday, and I get, and they have my address. They drive by my house, where I'm staying. I'm renting a house right now, and then I have a house in South Dakota that I've talked about, a property. But they stalk me every day. So clearly they have my address. So their excuse in the Hennepin County courts was that they didn't have my address, or they sent it to my address, and they have like an old address on file, but yet clearly where I live because you drive by me every day. As I'm walking my dog, I see them. It's truly a police stalking situation, and then I get so mad because this has happened to me for so many years now, and it's just. I don't know of anybody that's been more stalked by the police than I have been. It's literally gone on 12 years for me. 12 years of nonstop police harassment since I became a whistleblower. So, and it's gone on in multiple different states, and then there was just another incident here, just yesterday, a mentally ill woman, July 1st, in North Branch, Minnesota. Apparently, she had, apparently there was issues with mental illness. Okay. But
we are learning more about a woman killed by police last Thursday in North Branch. These are images of Jamie Crabtree, provided by her husband, Nick Williams. Crabtree was shot and killed as police responded to a report of a woman drunk and suicidal.
Police say she was armed when they confronted her, leading to one officer firing a pepper ball and the other firing his gun. Body cameras captured the incident, but footage has not been released. Crabtree's husband says he's full of frustration and questions whether police could have done more to save her life. Renee Cooper spoke with them and is telling us tonight why he's speaking out. Renee?
Right, Lindsay, the husband of the woman shot and killed says she struggled with mental illness and with alcohol, and he's called police to their home more than 5 times over the past few years because of those issues.
They knew she's mentally ill.
8:15 on Thursday night when Nick Williams says he found his wife, 36-year-old Jamie Crabtree, outside holding a bottle of rum and a gun case.
I said, "Where are you going and why do you have that?" And she said, "I'm out here." And I go, "Well, then I need to call the cops to get some help."
Williams told the dispatchers that suicide by cop was among her final comments.
I emphasized the gun case.
Official details are sparse. So far, police say officers responded to a report of an armed woman with a gun described as drunk and suicidal, and that at some point after officers found her, one discharged a non-lethal pepper ball and another fatally shot her with a gun. Williams says within a minute or two.
Like basically they were only there for like a minute or two before they started shooting her.
See whether his wife ever pulled her weapon.
And they did.
That she fell to the ground. And he questions the time
no footage.
It took after that for the cops to render aid.
Didn't even render aid. Okay, so, the police were there for maybe a minute or two, they said, before he heard gunshots. Or the neighbors or whatever heard gunshots. Okay, so you could not, there's no way that they were over there trying to assess or help her in any way. It literally sounds like they showed up and started shooting the woman. They were only there for like a minute or two. There's a lot of military personnel that have PTSD. There's a lot of people in the whole world that have, different mental health crises, and that's why they started implementing social workers to get involved with mental health people instead of the police, because so many disabled or mental people were ending up dead. Okay, and that's why they did implement something to just get social workers involved in those type of scenarios, because disabled people don't know how to act, and they act irrationally sometimes, and a lot of times they were ending up dead. Some veteran, I don't know, a lot of times it's just mentally retarded people or whatever kind of mental illness, and they don't act rationally when they're having some kind of mental illness, and there's no reason, and so they need somebody to handle them in an appropriate way, so they don't end up, the police have no business dealing with these type of people, because they end up shooting them, thinking instead of getting them the help that they need. So once again, I clearly have disgust for the police. That was the whole reason why there was this thing passed where social workers were starting to handle the mental illness people instead of the police. So the police should have called a local social worker, and that is what they were supposed to do, because there was like a law implemented under Trump when he was in, because for disabled veterans and things like that were having, and they're supposed to, when it's a mental illness or a disabled person, they're supposed to get a social worker involved, because there were so many people ending up dead. So they were completely out of line, it sounds to me, and it just makes me not trust them even more than I already don't. Okay, so don't ask me to feel sorry for the police. Okay, and then the other thing, that I wanted to show people is that, remember I was talking about how ever since I've been to these certain mechanics in town, I believe they put something on my sensor. They put something on my car affecting my sensors. So, I've had various different, the check engine light come on out of nowhere, different things like that. And so the other day I had this, that airbag sensor. Airbag sensor, if you could see it, it's the airbag sensor, and that lit up, meaning that there was an issue, like it was disabled, like it was disabled. So if I was to get in a car accident while there was having issues with that, the airbag would not deploy. So it makes me wonder, very cautious and very, I mean, literally, like, they can, whatever they put on my car, I still don't know. If anybody can help me with that situation, I would appreciate it, because I don't know what they put on my car. Obviously, it was some kind of electrical device that I'm still trying to figure out, and it seems to be able to go and affect my sensors. So I went to several different mechanics in town, and I've had nothing but problems so I only trust certain ones now that I will go to, and because there's so many of them that are not trustworthy, that are working with this whole agenda, this police agenda, this targeted program. There's a lot of mechanics that are working with the targeted program, and they will put these illegal things on your car, tracking systems and stuff, so they can track you, because they're part of the targeted individual program. They're working, and they're Masons. Okay. So if I was to have gotten an accident while that was disabled, like a really bad one, my air bag would not deploy. Okay, so that's basically like were you planning on killing me that day? I mean, you just can't put anything past these people anymore. I mean, and then the other thing I wanted to bring up is that I talked to this other lady who calls me, who is another targeted person out of Virginia, and she told me that she went to a supposedly a Trump rally or whatever, and she, the thing is that I'm very leery of these any kind of big gatherings. We have to be very leery of these big gatherings right now, and there is Trump clones, and some of them are not the real Trump. Okay, and so I am very leery of any kind of events right now. And I told her, be very careful. I said, because you remember what happened to all the Trump supporters on January 6th. They're still locked up. I said, just be very careful when you go to this event. And so she said, he was late, apparently the whole thing ran late, and then, he did come out and speak for a little while, and then there was tons of people there apparently, and then she said, then they made them wait 2 hours before they could all leave, and they were all stuck there as their cars were idling, and then her car stalled on her, and the excuse they made was that he was leaving with his entourage, and that they made him wait 2 hours. Okay, and then she said it was in a field with all these 5G towers. Okay, and you have to understand that there's things they're finding out now about this Travis Scott concert, where those 8 people died, those 8 kids, when they went to that Travis Scott concert in Houston. It was it was very satanic event, and what they believe happened now, and I've talked to Alice about this because she's aware of the 5G towers involved in the mind control, and the different things they can do with the tones and different things through these towers and through music. And so what they found out now with the Travis Scott concert is that it was something to do with the tone of the music along with the 5G towers, and it literally caused some kind of directed energy weapon to hit these people at that concert, and that's what killed them. It wasn't the suffocation or whatever they were thinking, because they were packed in there. And I mean, the whole thing was just, and then the stage was even set up like a satanic sacrifice, it was whole, they planned this whole thing. So if some kind of stage or any kind of event is set up in a satanic way or with symbols or things like that, then they're planning on something bad, pretty much. I mean, we have to be aware. But her and I had talked, and I told her to be careful and everything, but I wouldn't, I believe that they probably were, could have, been planning something at that event with those 5G towers, and maybe like that they did at this concert, because they had a whole group of Trump supporters there, and they could have targeted them. But her and I were talking, and she was letting me know how it was going and stuff like that. And so we have to be like smarter than them and aware of these different things they're trying to do. Because I do believe that they were probably going to try to do something, because I said, because of the way that it was set up and everything, they were made him all wait to get out. Like they had him stuck there, literally. They couldn't leave. And then her car stalled. Like, she thinks maybe somebody put something in her gas tank because it had stalled, and she's still having problems. I mean, so anyway, apparently they're able to do something now with these 5G towers, and you know what they look like. They're these towers that are, the big ones. These big ones, those 5G towers, they have like, they have these things on the top of these towers now that are actually like weapons. They can become directed energy weapons. And I've talked about this before. It was talked about in this one article, Targeted Justice, which apparently I don't know how good they are, but it was talked about in one of those articles. I talked about it in one of my videos before. So apparently they can, like at the Travis Scott concert, they can do something with tones along with some kind of beam that can come from the 5G towers, and they can cause a directed energy weapon to hit you, and it can kill people. And that's what happened to the kids at the Travis Scott concert. Okay, so this has been talked about in a YouTube video, and then I've talked with Alice about this type of thing, and she was very aware of what these towers can do, and has done some research on that, along with the CERN. And we talked about the CERN. So we have to be aware of these group events right now and be very careful with anything like that. So I just wanted to put this short video out today about that, just touching base. Okay, God bless.